Hey Dave, finally getting back with you on the video I said that I would send to you. Apologize for the messy garage. It's crazy here. I've been working on this car and there's like dust over everything. But I'll walk you through the things I think are important to look at. I'm sure I'll miss a lot, but I'll be around, to ask questions. But anyway, I'll hit the highlights and kind of go some things along the way. It'll be sort of a broken video, but as far as continuity and that, but I think you'll get the picture. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you about the 310s is they're more art than car. So that was the big difference when they went to the GTA. The GTA is over there. When they went to the GTA was an engineered car. This is not. This is along the lines of like a Lotus Esprit. And, I mean, any of the cars at the time in the early 80s, it has a structural backbone and then a fiberglass body, and the fiberglass body is somewhat questionable. But things to look out for, just especially in the headlight lens area, is stress cracks. Pretty common. So I've got them highlighted here. My car was hit early on, and then I got in a slight fender bender too. Again, don't tune while you drive. But it was something that needed to be fixed, and quite honestly, early on with this car, it was fixed once before. As you can see, here's the paint, here's filler, and it had some body work there. But you really need to get in and look at it. In particular, these corners, there's usually stress cracks. The last like Pack GT that was in the US that was sold, the one thing you have to be careful with is in photos they look awesome, all of them. But when you get into it, you find out that they have all these cracks and everything else. So there you go. Nothing I can really tell you on the front to look for. I'm going to walk over to the fascia. So the fascia is an old polypropylene fascia. For me, just because of the age, there's a lot of cracks between all the louvered surfaces here. So I actually reinforced with some brass and screwed it in there. Had to replace one area, 3D printed this up and put that in there. But, there you go. Something to look at there. There are fiberglass repros out there, and they're good. The brackets, they tend to rust and everything. Of course, I've been through this, so it's been stripped and plated and then powder coated. The other thing to look for, this is something you definitely want to try and look at. There's a couple of brackets underneath it that sandwich the fascia to the car, and these are they're like uncoated steel, and they all rot out. So I had ones, I remade these, put it in CAD and everything else, and these are actually stainless, so it's stainless into stainless and stainless. But Simon has these, and they're not totally ridiculous in price, but this is probably something you want to look at. All right. So going back to the car, as we go through, some things to look at. I'm going to go kind of in the interior here. Okay, so coming back to this, the hinges for the hood are actually like furniture hinges, so very IKEA. You do have to watch it and see where they are, what kind of condition they're in. Usually they're pretty rusted and not looking great. You have to be careful because look along the gap here to make sure that the bonnet is not clipping the front edge. It's not real specific. It sort of wiggles as it goes down. The other thing is right here where the strut mounts to the body. Make sure this looks good. Look underneath here to see if there's any water coming through, because those fasteners, can't get it. Those fasteners right there, they're through the right into the trunk here, or the frunk. There's no, you got to seal it up. In here in mine, you're going to see there should be, it's different for different cars of different years. Mine didn't have an inner panel But there is an inner panel with most of the cars. With, you know, if you're getting a wide body or Pack GT, it's going to have them. I've done a lot of restoration here, so you're kind of seeing the bits and pieces. Don't mind that. That's the that's the repair I'm doing. Some things to look at is see what condition the fuel filler cap is. They kind of mix and match metals, which is not awesome. It's got like a brass chain that attaches to it, and this is steel. And they kind of, you know, they attack each other on the galvanic scale. So not super awesome. Look over here. So this is where the fuses are, and then the reservoir for the brakes and the clutch pedal. So they're all integrated into one. It's only one piece. So look at it, see how it looks, make sure it's fine. You know, pretty straightforward stuff. As far as other thing to look at, let's see, we'll get my light here. There is a drain right there, and it has these tubes attached to it. Make sure they're still looking good, because like this one, you can see is in, oh, you can't, 2 pieces. So you know, something like that, to be honest, I would end up 3D printing with TPU instead of buying a new one, but hey, there you go. Around here, there is, it's not on my car right now, but there is a molding that goes along the windshield. Just check it. Look at it in the corners. There's an aftermarket one that's in multi-piece. It's okay, you know, but something to check. Obviously, use the wipers. You know, they go in. They're the hands clamp, and they're sort of out of sync. It's a little weird, but cool at the same time. As far as anything else in the front, I can't think of anything weird. Some things to look at. This is super important. The fit in the door right here. My car is, like I said, I know this is not an aftermarket. It's either a donor door or something else. So it doesn't quite fit. The gap isn't there. There's been some kind of repair, but definitely take a look at this and make sure it's right. My front is good. My back is not, to get it fit up. The other thing is look along here for stress cracks. You see these pen marks. There's stress cracks here. The other is I don't know what rear view mirrors you have. They use different ones. Primarily, they use the Vitelloni Tornado. And they don't really mount that well. The door doesn't really have an inner structure. We'll look at that in a minute. But look for stress cracks and that around here. Make sure that all looks good. All right. Check this right here. It's not on my car, but there is a sash seal. Just make sure it's looking good. And you know, mine had a lot of like silicone and stuff caked on it, and a lot of them are there. So that part is available through Simon. There you go. The other thing is, when you get into the quarter window, so mine's not in it because I'm working on the car. This is held in with butyl. So, you know, just take a look at it from the inside. Make sure you don't see any water coming down, any streaks, because it's not a huge issue, but, you know, you have to heat it up, remove it, get 3M butyl, put it back in. There you go. This is the air intake for the cooling, and then the carburation and everything, the air intake. There is a garnish here. I'll see if I can get a look at it, but these frequently you'll see them, they're cracked here and like here, so they're in like 3 pieces. There is aftermarket, but I don't know if it's 3D printed or what they are. But you know, if it's 3D printed, I'd stay away from it. They look great day one, but a year they're already moving and shrinking and everything else. So not so much an awesome thing. As far as the other exterior things, I mean, just you need to look around. You know, I have some stress cracks back here. You can kind of see. So I got to work on those. I have some down here. You got to look at that. And then here's a mismatch in the door again. There's a lot to do with how these doors fit. It's sort of come as you are. Again, it's an art car. There's a lot to get these lined up, but we'll take a look at that. The one thing I want to show you is, let's see if I got it here. You need to make sure, if you can see it, the every glass panel has etched in it the VIN. So on this, my rear hatch, the other quarter glass, the door glass, the front quarter light, those all have the same number. I know mine are been replaced with the windshield. I think my quarter glass is original, but this is not. The door glass is not, and the quarter light or the front door is not. So hopefully that kind of gets you lined up there as far as what to look for on the exterior. All right, we'll look at the next, kind of the next step here. So there's an under tray under the front of the car. You need to make sure it's there. My car didn't have it, and I got it from Simon. It's a fiberglass piece. Pretty nice, easy to put it on. But if you're going through a dealer or somebody else, have them remove it. Put them up, see if they can put the car on a lift and have them remove it. I would definitely ask. Well, yeah, kind of hard to see because I got it all blocked off. But just see where they are. Like, how is the radiator a copper one or is it aluminum? If it's aluminum one, it's been aftermarket later, and you may want to question like why would you change it? Or if it's copper, which you can kind of see here, that's the one you want. That's original OEM. Another thing to look out for is the delamination of the glass. May be kind of hard to see for the headlight lenses. You can kind of just see it here, but it's a pretty common problem. There is some repops that are going on. Actually, there's one guy that makes it with the same graphics and everything else. I actually have two sets. I've got a glass one, and I also have a plastic version. The plastic, it's an acrylic, is pretty downtown. But anyway, this is pretty common. Just something to look at to make sure it's been replaced, because it will just continue to go and get worse. All right, we're going to look at all the parts. For the most part, my car is stock. When you get into the engine management and fuel, it isn't, but we'll talk about it. So your master cylinder's right here, left-hand side. You want to look at this frame. You want to make sure it isn't all rusted. Mine was actually in pretty good shape, but there you go. You can see that's the fuel tank right there. The brake master servo, and then we get into the suspension. We'll look at that. But there's a beam, the main beam right here, goes all the way back, and you want to make sure that that of course is looking good. Rust is a common issue with this, especially when we get towards the rear of the car. So we'll look at that, and then I'll tell you what to look for there. Okay, so my car is, I've been restoring it for a long time, so it's like a new car. The only thing to look at here, I would say, again, is the rust. You can see, if you look up there, the coiled hose, or it's really a sensor that goes on the brakes that determines whether the brakes are worn or not. Mine was not in great shape, but I just didn't use it. Doesn't mean anything to me, but make sure that's all set up. The other thing is what struts or what shocks are on this. This is important, because if it has the Simon aftermarket one, you can't lower the car. I'll explain that another day, but these are Spax shocks. There's actually a part number, my own part number. That's another story for another day. But if you want to lower the car or what have you, you got to make sure you got the right ones. But if you go with the Simon ones, or if it has a Simon one on it, it'll make the car look like it's rallying or cresting over a hill. Look at, you know, the rust and everything up in there. This is pretty common. We know where it traps stuff and it's a problem. Brakes and everything, you know, you want to look at it, make sure it all looks good. Let's see. I don't think there's anything, you know, really crazy on that. The one thing that it's important, if you look right here, to get that bolt in, to get that bolt in, it has to come from the cabin. And the cabin has a hole right there, and there's a plug. You need to make sure that plug is looking good and seated. Otherwise, you're getting water and everything running on the inside, and it's not so awesome. Okay. Right here, this is super important, is the outriggers. These tend to rust. So what happens is the stone gets up there, it chips, they're covered with fiberglass. This is what's bonded to the chassis. And then the water gets in there and rots out the steel, and it's steel. So we're going to take a look at that in just a second. But as far as the suspension goes, I mean, you can kind of see the general make of it. Nothing really alarming here. You just need to just look at it, make sure it's updated. Okay, so what you're looking at here is one of the outriggers. Mine look good. There's 4 of them. Well, I guess there's 2 of them. 2 in the front. This one had exactly that. A stone chip had it, rotted out. I rebuilt it, welded it up, and then encased it, you know, cover it with some paint and everything in the end, and it will look good. But as far as the rest of the car, it's a backbone chassis, kind of hard to see under here. And then we get to the back, and then we'll walk through that. Some things, you know, just to look at, just the metal underneath here. This is where the seat belts go into. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. I mean, we hadn't really covered. The seats, I'll go through that in a minute. So there's where the seat bolts are. Yeah, that requires some discussion. All right, you saw the other door. This door is a good door, and the fit is great. I do want to tell you to look at, just make sure, look at this gap right along here and here, and make sure it's consistent, because again, these parts are not like totally engineered. They're literally artwork that's just bolted together, and somebody tunes them and tweaks them and fiddles. You know, they file here, file there, and they get it to fit. The cars are a collection of parts from the Renault parts bin. So a lot of R5 or Lecar parts, I think R17, you know, various parts. So parts are out there. They float around. In the U.S., there are parts there. You just have to be kind of, you know, use some common sense to look at what's out there. It's there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. All right, let's keep going. Okay, now for the engine, my engine is the B27 or the 2664 PRV. I've not done anything. I did rebuild it, go through it, clean it up. It runs good. Everything's fine. I did put in some rally cams, you know, and if you do that, you go into other things. The car itself, let's see, unless you have a Bologna car, which has Weber carbs, the Pack GTs, I think they have the same thing. There's a Solex CEE 35 and 34. There's nothing to do with those carbs. They're junk, but they run. They're made for efficiency. They do the trick and everything else. But if you want to modify it, you're going to have to do something different. That's maybe a different discussion another day. I'm running a Nate Adams intake manifold, and I'm running a Holley Sniper. My goal was to have it look stock and but you know, be totally cool. Still working that thing out. But anyway, some things to note on this. In this area, on a car that's got all the parts, there's heat shields. My car didn't have it. You know, that's where it is. There's also supposed to be a spare tire I think, on this side, and then the jack and everything is supposed to go there, which I have. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Nothing really, you know, I mean, to look at my car isn't totally a good example. It's pretty stock. But this is an area, you know, as you know, I want to go out and rally it and do all kinds of crazy stuff. A couple of things to look for in this are, check these hinges out. Make sure they're looking good and robust. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. Make sure this panel is here. I have aftermarket to put in there, but that's super important. As you can see, mine's pretty dirty. That's what happens. Trying to think if there's anything else you really need to look at here. The wiring. The wiring in particular on this side, so I get it, this side of the engine, between the alternator and the starters down there, you need to really look at them, because when mine had some level of a fire before, but yeah, take a look at it, and I'll take a photo down underneath it. But a couple other things to note, kind of hard to see from here, but right down there, right left hand side, you can kind of see there's some structure. I can't see it from here, but that is the main ground back in here. You need to make sure it's grounded. I mean, this is where most of the problems happen, but it's on this side of the chassis. Make sure that all looks good. Again, you know, mine's all restored, so it's going to look pretty primo. All right. Okay, hopefully that helps. So, you might see the UK, you might see a number of people come up and they're like, oh yeah, I put a Weber carburetor on, not a Weber, I'm sorry, a Holley carburetor on it, and they use the normal or the OEM manifold. I did all that. It's a disaster. Do not do that. If it has it on it, I would question it. I ran into a situation like this back. There's a whole like 2-hour video we could do just on this thing. But this plate back here, I've seen a lot of weird stuff. This is the weirdest. My guys made this. I had my prototype shop guys do this. In the UK, there's JL Law guys do it. And the kits, they make a kit, and it's been pretty good. The one thing that happened to me is there was a crack. You can't even see it here. A crack along the bottom. And what would happen is the car ran great till it got hot. And then a crack appeared, and then it would fill up the bottom of this with this emission stuff from the 70s, which is absolutely nutty, full of fuel. And then the car would start running kind of wonky. And then you come back the next day, and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go, and fire it up. And the tune was totally off. And then, you know, it was a disaster. So how we found this out is I had a welder buddy he's awesome. Well, obviously you can see. We totally took this down, and he welded this in, and when he was welding it, all of a sudden the thing whoosh went up in flames, and that was because when he put some heat into it, this opened up, and then the gas fumes coming in. So this whole thing's a disaster. Don't do that. If you're gonna do that, do the Nate Adams thing, unless you're doing an LS1 or whatever, craziness you're up to. Okay, I mentioned about where all the wiring is and kind of problematic. So, right-hand side, lower, this is where everything comes together. You can kind of see the starter, everything else. You got to watch that, because this is where, the wiring is brittle, and, it ends up cracking and starting to fire. I rewired all this with current OEM wiring, but, it's still kind of a bear. Look at where see if there's any puddles of oil or trans fluid. So even after this, I still You can see it. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's oil there. Out of this sensor here, it tends to leak oil. I mean, there's just some of it you can't get away from. Check the level of everything before you, before you make a decision or what have you. Okay, rear suspension. So you may know that this shares the same rear parts as an R5 Turbo, which is fine. I mean, it's all cool, except for, I don't know if you can see it. Get a light right there. This piece right here, right there, comes across. Right there, this is where the suspension mounts to the chassis. And that particular part is not awesome. What it does is it fatigues and cracks, and then you end up having a loose, front suspension arm. So mine's I went and re-engineered it and rebuilt it and everything else. There's a part by 3DS who does the R5 Turbo racing cars that have a reinforced one. I would do that no matter what, right off the rip. And then same thing, the story with the shocks. Nothing really crazy here. Just, again, look in there, make sure everything's looking kind of good. This is what it should look like. Okay, so we'll move to the interior. Maybe we'll start with the back first. So my interior's not in here, but just a couple things to note. You see all this up here. This is adhesive. These aren't trim panels. They're like screwed in. It's literally textile that's glued into place. And the textile is all available. You can get it. It's just, you got to get somebody who's willing to do the work to put it in. There's a center panel right here. I would ask them to move it, if you can, like this. And then you can see the trans. So you see the coolant lines down there. You can see the shift mechanism. You can kind of get an idea of, hey, how's this looking, right? That right there, if you see the silver kind of ish cord or tube, I guess, that is the clutch reservoir tube. That's important. I'll mention that in a minute. Let's see. I don't think there's anything really weird. I have a kind of unique set. I have the racing setup, so it's a little more robust. Oh, it's looking a little rusty, but there you go. But I would look at this like, hey, what does it look like? Is it a total mess? Should kind of look sort of like what I got here. There you go. All right. Okay, looking towards the front, a couple things to note. So I've repainted my IP panel. It is literally a sheet of aluminum. They chip. They really normally don't look good. Look at this, because normally it's not awesome. The others, you get down into it. Here's a cooling system. This is actually a new valve. I would check this. They frequently leak and create problems. Here's a shift mechanism. Nothing weird there. Something to look at that you won't see underneath all the textile and everything else is, if you see all the big holes right there, those are from the factory. They, completely clear all that out, put the pieces back together, and you got to watch it, especially right here on the door. There's a sheet metal piece. Look, make sure it's not corroded. What happens is it all seals up, and if it's corroded, then it leaks into the cabin. Yeah, nothing really strange about this except that there's no, like side intrusion door or, brace or anything like that. If you get hit from the side, you're kind of done. Does have this tube here. This is frequently the plastic piece here is frequently just, warped and twisted and everything else. It's just, it's not a great fit for the car. But, there you go. Let's see. Anything else I need to remember? So, in the passenger side, there's just like a foot panel. Just make sure that just take a look at it. Make sure it's there. Underneath here, the pedals and the main fuses and everything else. Just something to look at. Another thing I forgot to mention is the pinch flange tends to come apart. Let's see if I can lift this up. So I had to put mine back together, bond it, reinforce it with a lot of glass. You can see the repair here. But it's very thin, and it's definitely probably a problem on all of the cars. I also went through and reinforced the seating mount. So this is essentially what I mentioned before. This is an encapsulated piece of wood. That's it. And then the seats go through. I don't have the holes here. I got one there though. Go through the plank, go through the wood, and you're bolting to that through the bottom of the car. So that's what keeps the seat in. Just something to think about. If you're not. If you're kind of squeamish about the safety of the car, it's no different than if you had like a Lotus 7 or something similar. But anyway, there you go. Here we go. All right, I'm going to cover a couple of points that I missed. This is actually sort of a follow-up video, but something to note, the one gauge on the top there, the third one over, when you start the car, all it does is it'll move to the right and it'll move to the left pretty quick. All it's doing is checking the level of the oil in the car or in the engine before you start it. That's it. That's its whole function. So you may think that it's a failure, like, hey, it's not working right. It literally, when you turn it in accessory, it goes over, gives you the level, and then it turns itself off again. So don't get excited if that's a little weird. So I'll wrap up with a couple of points. I think you said you're going to go to Germany and get the car. That's good. They have, inspections and requirements, so the cars are usually in good shape. You're probably not buying a junk car. Get all the paperwork on it. And, just see what it is, go through it there with them. That's going to be important because they're required to keep the records on it. One thing that was really not awesome when I got my car is I didn't check the fluids right away. And I could see there was fluid. I could see, it had oil. I checked that. I didn't check the trans fluid. And I could see there was trans fluid. It was weeping. And then, I don't know, maybe about my third or fourth trip out on the road, all of a sudden the trans seized because it didn't have fluid. So, yeah, that was a big mistake. So I rebuilt that. Those parts are available between U.S., Europe, and even the DeLorean distributors in the U.S. They'll have parts. But anyway, no, the cars are pretty, they're easy to work on. The big issue is the trim and then the upkeep of trying to keep it looking fresh and new. But yeah, there's probably less than 100 around. They're underground. The Alpine community is not real out there as far as, with clubs and everything else. There was kind of a club that was in the early or late 90s and early 2000 or mid 2000, and then it kind of died off. Sort of a resurgence now with guys getting the GTAs. GTA is a much better car. It's an engineered car, so it's a lot more robust and everything else. But there's a lot of stuff going on. Couple of or I know at least one build going on with a high power engine, and some other ones that are going through just cleanup and everything else. But anyway, if you get into trouble or whatever, give me a shout. you know, you should be able. This car is pretty straightforward, but get the papers, go through it, ask a lot of questions, see if you can have them remove the panels and everything, and look at the car. Hopefully this helps. If you got questions, like I said, just give me a shout.